Hello guys, very good evening. How are you all doing? Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. It's winter season, so yeah, everywhere it's winter only. So and this time quite different. Great. Yeah, hope you all are doing great and working on your technical skills. Very nice. So again, I am back with some of your questions which you have asked through the Google Form link. So today mainly we are going to focus on Excel. So we are going to talk about Excel in detail. There are many questions you have asked on Excel, and there is one or two question on maybe AI tool and maybe Power BI. Okay, guys. So let's get started with our today's Q&A session. Great. So those who are new to this session, guys, do not get confused. This is a Q&A session. This is not a regular session. In Q&A session, we discuss questions from the different topics or maybe from different modules. So these questions are asked by you. I just try to answer them in a way so that you all can get some benefit. Great. So this is our first question. It is about lookup function, like how can we apply lookup or what are the different lookups we have. So there are multiple questions on lookup only. First of all, how do we apply VLOOKUP and what are the different lookup we have? And also, what are the use cases of lookup? When can we use lookup? And also, I have created a table which shows you the real use cases. What type of task you can solve, which type of lookup. Okay. So as the name suggests, lookup. No need to write in notebooks. You will have access to this document. This document will be uploaded to your portal LMS. You can download this document from there. So nothing to write on notebook. Don't worry. Okay, so let's try to understand these lookup functions. So lookup functions actually are very important concept of Excel. So whenever you go for an interview, no matter what type of interview it is, if you mention Excel as your skill, lookup is going to be 100% a question. Whether they ask you about VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, or maybe index match. The most commonly asked question is always on VLOOKUP, and sometimes they do ask about index match as well. And VLOOKUP is highly useful. Okay, great. Now, let's understand why these lookup. So see, these lookup functions can help you in many ways. As the name suggests, look up means you are looking up for something, means you are searching something. And where are we searching? In a table. So whenever you are given a sheet, you might be searching for different values. So that is nothing but your lookup only. Now, how do you search? There can be different way of searching a value. Maybe you will be searching a value in a column. So when you search a value in a column, column is vertical in position. So you call it vertical lookup. And whenever you search a value in a column, you use VLOOKUP. As the name stands, vertical lookup. You are searching or looking up for a value in a vertical or in a column. So it is called vertical lookup. Whenever you search for a value in a row which seem horizontal, then we use HLOOKUP, which is rarely used. So we don't use HLOOKUP a lot. It is rarely used, but yeah, whenever you search value in a row, we can use HLOOKUP. So later on, after 2021 Excel version, they have introduced one more function that is called XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is combination of both. You can use in place of VLOOKUP, you can use in place of HLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP is nothing but combination of both the formula. Okay. Similarly, we have one more way to search for values that is called index match. Now, what do you mean by index match? Index match is alternative to all these lookup functions. So whenever you are searching values based on maybe multiple parameters, or you don't know whether you are searching vertically, horizontally, or in whatever way, in those scenarios, you can use index match. Now, it is not fixed that you always need to use VLOOKUP or you always need to use index match. In real time, you are not to use or not bound to use any of these specific function. You can use either of them. You just need to get the answer. Okay. So let's look at their practical implementation in Excel. So let me just get some data set if I have. I think this practice workbook I can take for now. And let me just delete some irrelevant practice from here. Let's understand this VLOOKUP and all the other lookup functions. I have sheet 1 also. And if anything else is there, I am just deleting. So you see we have two sheets. Sheet 1 contains the employee data, which contains employee ID, name, department, joining date, location, manager name, salary. And sheet 2 contain department and manager name. These are the two sheets. Okay, great. Now we are going to first look at how does VLOOKUP work. So VLOOKUP has two use cases. People use VLOOKUP to consolidate two or more sheets. People also use VLOOKUP to search for a specific value. There are two use cases related to VLOOKUP. What I am going to do is I am going to explain VLOOKUP as well as XLOOKUP as well as index match here only. For example, this is very small data set, but data set is not important. You can have as large as much you want. Even if you have crores of records, still the way I am writing VLOOKUP is going to remain same. Okay, so don't worry about the data set. I have intentionally used a small data set so that you can clearly understand. Okay, so for example, let's say someone gives me department here. And here they ask for a manager name. So let's say you have too many departments and these departments are repeated in nature and someone says, can you tell me the manager of a specific department? So let's say this is very small data, but what if you have crores of records, thousands of records, and someone asks you, can you tell us the manager of Uvesh? Can you tell me the manager name of this person or any other person? Then how are we going to search that? For example, here you might be having employee name or maybe department name. Maybe I'm just taking sales as the department. So who is the manager of sales? That is your question. You can of course answer this question maybe by using VLOOKUP, maybe by using XLOOKUP, maybe by using any other function as well. Okay, so you can use almost anything, whatever you want. Great. Let me use VLOOKUP first. Why I'm using VLOOKUP? See, this department is, if you see these department names are in a column. So because these department names are in a column and columns means these are available vertically, it means we are going to use vertical lookup. So let me just write here VLOOKUP is equal to VLOOKUP. Don't try to memorize the function. Try to understand the syntax or reference which your Excel gives you. The first value it is asking you, what is the value you are looking up for? This is the value I am looking up for, comma. What is the table array? Means what is your table where you are looking up for these values? I am going to select my table. This is my table. If I had larger data, I could have selected both the columns. In any way, it is going to work. then again comma. Now it is asking column index number. Column index number is your third parameter, which asks you which column you want to fetch. So here you cannot provide the column name. You need to provide the column number which you want to fetch. Here I can count the column. This is first column. This is second column. My manager name is present in second column. So I will be writing 2 here. Then again comma. It is asking me whether you want an approximate match or exact match. You can also use 0 and 1. 0 for exact match, 1 for approximate match. I always need most of the time exact match. So you write here 0, close the bracket and you enter. And you got the manager name, that is Thomas Anderson. Even if you change the department, your manager name will keep changing. You maybe write IT and always you are going to get the answer. Make sense? Okay, so pretty straightforward. You just need to provide the lookup value. That is nothing but this. Then you need to provide the table array. That is nothing but your range where you are searching for the value. And then you provide the column number which you want to fetch or from where you want to fetch the value. And then 0 for exact match. And you get your answer. This is the answer through VLOOKUP. Okay. I hope you guys are clear with this. Great. Same answer, but this time I want to fetch it maybe by using XLOOKUP. Okay. So how can we use XLOOKUP now? Okay, you are thinking too much. This is very simple and I think this could be the simplest definition, but still. Because this is the range and range could be with number, without number, it doesn't matter at all. You just need to provide the range. Okay. Great. Now let's move to the second way of answering the same question. What I am saying, this was, let's say, VLOOKUP. I'm answering the same question by using index match. So first you need to understand why the combination of index match. Do you know why do we use index and why do we use match? Many people get confused between index match. No matter Ramesh how long or large your data is, always you need to count. That is the only way. You need to count the column number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you cannot have more than 20 columns. So don't worry. You are always going to have very small. Right? Great. Now let's look at index match. How does index match work? So see, index match is combination of two formula. So we need to understand first how index work and then how match works. Then only we can combine them together. So I hope you guys remember in your college days, in your school days, maybe we used to prepare a notebook or maybe a project file where we used to maintain, let's say, I can say we used to maintain a summary page where we used to write index number of each topic. On this page, this is the topic. On this page, this is the topic. So index comes from there. So when you know the exact location of a value you are looking for, then you can use always index. For example, you see here index. It is asking you what is the array. I can provide this is my array. Now it is asking row number, comma, column number. Means you know the exact position. Maybe row number is 2, B7. Maybe row number is 2, column number is maybe again 2. You close the bracket and it gives you the answer. So whenever you know the exact position, exact location, means row number, you know the row number and you also know the column number. Then you can use index always. Always you can use index function. So here I have used index formula. But you see, knowing the exact location is quite difficult. Maybe this data set was very small, so you know the exact location of your row. But if data set was bigger, you wouldn't know the exact location of your row. Knowing exact location of column is easier because you can count the column, but knowing the exact row position is quite difficult because you cannot look at all 1000 records one by one. It is going to be very tedious and boring. So how do we know the row position? So to know the row position, we use match function. So if someone says, again, I'm writing, if you know the value which you are looking for. For example, if someone says, I'm looking for, maybe someone says, let's say Jennifer Davis. I'm looking for this person. Now I want to know the row location or row index number. I want to know the row index number for this person. So if you want to know the row index number for this person, we can use match. Match. What is the lookup value? This is my lookup value, comma. Where I am looking up this value, I am looking up this value in B column. So I can select the B column and comma. Match type is always going to be exact, 0, close the bracket, and now you know the row number. So Jennifer Davis is in 5th row. So this is your match function. So now I know this index can give you the answer when you know the row number and column number. Match can give you the row number when you know the value. So if someone says, can you answer me this question? What is, or who is the manager for IT department by using index match? So I need to answer this question. The department still remain IT, but I need to tell the manager name by using index match. See, row number is not given, column number is not given, and I have to use index when both are given. I can use match to know the row location. So here, if I write index, just look at it very carefully. It is asking you, can you provide the array? I will provide the array. This is my array where I am searching this IT department and the manager, comma. Now it is asking me to provide the row number. I know I don't know the row number because we have thousands of records. But I know to know the row number, we can use match. So in place of writing row number, you are going to write match. Again, start writing. Now what does match say? Match say what is the lookup value? This is my lookup value. Comma. Where are you looking this value? I am looking at a column. Comma. What position do you want? I want exact position means 0. This match here is acting as a row number now because match always gives you the row number. So continue in the formula bar, comma. I need to provide the column number. Column I can count. It is easy to count 1, 2. I need second column. Close the bracket and enter. And you got the same answer by using index match. Are you guys clear? It's quite confusing learning index match, but I think this is the simplest way of looking at it. Okay, so this is how you can just look at it. Again, one more time, you see, index will ask you what is the data and where are you looking at this IT. So I have just selected the entire data or all the columns. Then index always look for a row number. I don't know the exact row number, but I know way which can tell me the row number, that is match. So I have applied match here and it is telling me the row number. And then I can count the column. So I have counted column and provided the column number and I got my answer. And that is how you get your answer. Clear? Great. Now, you might want to look at, can I get the same answer by using XLOOKUP? Yes, let's try with XLOOKUP also. Again, I have the same question. I'm answering the same question with different ways. Okay. You use XLOOKUP. Don't worry, if you are using any older version of Excel, you will not have XLOOKUP. But if you are using version after 2021, you will have XLOOKUP there. It is again asking me what is your lookup value. This is my lookup value, comma. XLOOKUP is slightly different from VLOOKUP. It is asking you lookup array. Concentrate on the word. It is not asking table array. It is asking lookup array. So lookup array means the column where your value is present. So you selected A column, comma. Now it is asking you return array. Again, not a table array, return array. The value which you want to return means B column, comma. You do not write anything at all. Just write here 0, close the bracket and enter. And you got the same answer by using XLOOKUP as well. So here you are not selecting entire table. You are selecting both the columns separately, one by one. Make sense? And this is how you can get the answer by using XLOOKUP. So you can use interchangeably all these functions. There is no argue about that. But if someone asks you apply index match on this situation or that situation, then you have to remember that how can we apply. There is one more use case, guys, about index match, which is very important for interview purpose. Even it is asked in one of your doubts, maybe. Yeah, how can we combine two sheets together? Right? So let me just tell you. So sometimes even interviewer will give you a sheet like this and they will ask you, can you consolidate these two sheets together? I don't want to keep two separate sheets. I want to consolidate both sheets together. That is the question. How can we do that? All function will perform with same speed, Pradeep. So see, whenever you want to consolidate data, whenever you want to combine data, you need to remember this rule. Whenever you combine two sheets together or whenever you combine two data together, you always look for common feature. There must be one common column. Without common ground, you cannot combine two data sets. So it's like you are getting married. So there is something common, then only you can get married. Right? Great. So here, what is that common feature? So here we have department and sheet 2 also we have department. So let get them married. So what can we do? We have to apply VLOOKUP to fetch the data from there, because again we are searching values in a column only, right? So here what I want manager name. Department name is already given for each employee. I know Sarah Johnson's work in marketing department, but whom she report? So I want manager name as well. So if you want manager name here, I will just write here a new column manager name and I will write a formula. So many people get confused when they consolidate tables together. They get confused. How do we select all these values? Let me just show you how do we do that. Let's make it very simple. See, you always write a formula for single value and automatically it will come for all the other values. So here I will be writing formula only for marketing department and automatically it will appear for all the other department. Okay, so let's write. Let me remove them. Right. So here I am writing the formula VLOOKUP. Okay. My lookup value is going to be this marketing, comma. Now it is asking me from where I can get my table. So you need to go to sheet 2 and this is the table which I want. Do not jump back to sheet 1. You have selected your table, you need to continue formula here itself in formula bar. That is the mistake which most people make. Comma. Which column I want? I want second column which contains manager name. Again, comma. I want exact match means 0. Close the bracket, enter. And you got Robert Johnson as the manager for Sarah Johnson. And you double click on this and you will get all the managers name for each employee. Make sense? Are you guys clear? So this could be the other use case of using VLOOKUP. So you just need to remember that whenever you are applying VLOOKUP to consolidate multiple sheets, you need to apply it for a single value. And whenever you are selecting data on a different sheet, you select the column and you do not switch back to sheet 1. You continue the formula bar and there you write the column index number and whatever. And that is how you get your answer. Done. I hope you guys are clear with this as well. So these are the 3 different use cases. Can we look up one Excel file to another Excel file? Yes. Great. Can we know how many people work under whom manager? Yeah, that we can do. Now that is analysis part. You can just create a pivot table, drag manager name, drag the employee ID, and you will know the count of employee under each manager. Okay, great. Even you can apply count if, which is nothing but counts values based on condition. That is also other way to look at number of employees working under a manager. No, no need to use dollar if you are selecting columns. But if you are selecting exact data, then you need to use dollar. Great. Even if you have two separate workbook, still your function remains same. You just need to continue your formula in your different sheet and you will get the answer. So you can combine two workbook, two sheets or whatever it is. In all scenarios, it is going to work. Make sense? Great. So I hope you got the clarity now. So try practicing this also. It is going to help you a lot in understanding all these functions very, very clearly. Let's move to the next doubt now. Okay. Okay, even I have wrote a very nice and clean explanation for each and every formula. And you can see, even I have wrote when do you use which type of formula. To use this as well, I have given some use cases which you can practice if you want. Okay. Next question, which is about VBA versus macros. What is the difference between VBA and macro? So have you guys ever used VBA or macro? Visual Basic Application or macro. Okay. Earlier it was very popular. Nowadays it's not so popular, but yeah, of course you can use VBA and macro. We are just comparing both. So VBA or macro both are same, but in macro you record the things, in VBA you write the instructions. That's the basic difference. So if you are creating a macro, still you are writing VBA means the coding, but by recording your steps. And when you manually write the steps or the programming, then it's called VBA, Visual Basic Application. Okay. So yeah, for smaller things, you can record macro, but if you are solving a complex problem, you can write VBA, Visual Basic Application. Let me show you one example. How can we record a macro? Then you will understand. For example, I'm coming to a new sheet and let's say I write the name here Uvesh. Maybe I want to apply some formatting on this name, and that formatting I want to store or I want to save. I want to maybe create a shortcut key to apply that formatting on any other cell. So what I will do is I'll go to developer mode. If developer mode is not enabled, you guys can go to file, go to options, and then you can just go to customize ribbon. And here you see developer mode, and you can just enable your developer mode. Once the developer mode is enabled, you will have that here. Now, you go to developer mode and you start recording macro. The moment you click on record macro, it will ask you this. What is the shortcut key you want to use? Let's say I want to use Control U as my name and I am going to save it. Great. You see your recording has started. It is asking you to stop. I'm not going to stop. First, I'm going to make some changes. Let's say I'm going to give this color, maybe this. Let's make it bold, and maybe let's increase the size 24. Then adjust the column, and maybe now come back to developer mode and stop it. This is what I have done. Great. Now I'm going to write a new name, maybe let's say Hussein. I am going to use Hussein. I can see here in macros that I already created a macro. I can just click on run. It will apply all the formatting automatically. Control Z. Or maybe let me just write here Salman Khan. And maybe I just use a shortcut key Control U, and still you are able to apply same format. So this is called macro. Okay. Same way, here you have this Visual Basic. When you click on Visual Basic, here it is going to show you this module where you can write the coding here. Here you can write the actual coding, which will be called as Visual Basic Programming. Earlier it was very popular, but this is the basic difference. When you write, it becomes VBA. When you record, it becomes a macro. You can try, let's say, whether it is, let's say I'm creating a new sheet here and I write here Katrina and I use Control U. Everywhere you can use. In the entire workbook, you can use that. So very simple process. Go to developer mode, start recording, and then stop recording. And that is nothing but your macro. And I hope you guys are clear with this as well. Okay. So you see, macro is nothing but a recorder. VBA is nothing but a programming. Clear difference I have explained. Let's talk about offset function. Okay. Yes, whether it is VBA or macro, your developer mode must be enabled. Great. If you need more detailed explanation, you can just drop your query, but we were just discussing the differences between both. Great. Let's look at it now. What is offset function? See, offset function is not very commonly used, but yeah, if you want to use, see, offset. If you want to off the setting, if you want to move from here to there, if you want to just let's say adjust the setting of your selection of your range. So what it does, you can provide the reference and you can tell how many cell you want to move in the right direction or in the top or bottom direction. So it tells you that on a selected cell, how many positions you want to move in the column side, how many positions you want to move to the row side. So when without providing the reference, if you want to move some positions or location from here to there, then you can use offset. Okay, I have even given the example. For example, you want to start from A1 cell and you want to move two rows. Two rows means you are moving down, and you want to move one column means you are moving right direction. You write this format, it is going to give you which cell. Two rows means 1, 2, 3. Third, one column means B column, and you are in a different location. So whenever you don't know the exact position of a cell, but you know the position of some other cell, and if you want to switch from here to there, then you can use offset. It is said that macros contains virus. I don't know. I never seen any virus. Anyway, okay. So you can use macros as well. If you, sorry, offset as well if you want to use. Similarly, okay, many questions are there. Formula text. Formula text is sometimes important. Okay, if you want to look at one example, let's come here. So let's say you writes here Uvesh, and maybe let me just increase the size a little bit. Let me just get it clean. Great. Maybe you have name here, age here. Uvesh, same. Anything, like something like this. Now, maybe I just want to apply offset. You see references. I am just providing the reference, this cell, comma. I want to move two positions down, two. One position right because I want age, close the bracket and enter. And you got 22, the age of Hussein. Two positions down means Hussein, and one position left means 22. And you got the age of Hussein. Okay, that is how your offset can work. Clear? Though you did not use the actual reference, you just provided how many locations down, how many locations right. Great. Okay, let's move to the next question. Formula text. Why do we use formula text? So see, formula text is mainly used whenever there is a long expression written and you do not want to change that expression. You just want to understand that formula. So you might want to display that formula. So if you want to display the formula used in that cell, you can use formula text. Just say for example, I am going to use here formula text. I am going to provide this, close the bracket and enter. And it is going to tell me what formula I have used here. So formula text will show you the formula used in any cell. Because you see, if you use an equal sign, it does not display the formula, and you don't want to play around here because this is your sensitive cell. So you want to see what logic we have used in this cell. So in other cell, you can write formula text and it is going to show you the logic you have used in that cell. Okay. Are you clear? Make sense? Yeah. Those who are very new and they are not done with regular sessions, you might be finding it little difficult, but try to understand. And maybe when you attend your regular sessions, you have more clarity on each of these topics. Okay, great. Yes, it can be. See, offset formula, I never used offset formula. I just know that this is how it can be used. So there is no practical use case. But yeah, the people who work with financial data, they generally don't refer cell or use references directly. They use references indirectly. So whenever you want to use references indirectly, in those scenarios, you can use offset formula. Okay. फॉर्मूला हाइड किया हो तो भी आप ये फॉर्मूला टेक्स्ट यूज कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं, जहां चाहें आप कर सकते हैं। यू आर मास्टर ब्लास्टर। ग्रेट। ओके, so even I have told you that to debug or maybe just to audit or maybe for teaching and documentation you can use formula text. This is actually a good way to look at it. Interesting question, how to clean data in Excel. Okay, this is not a small thing actually. This includes multi-step process, that how can we clean data in Excel. So first of all, you need to understand what could be the problems with your data. The first problem we can think of, we can have duplicate record. See, some people get confused in duplicate record and duplicate value. Do you know the difference between duplicate record and duplicate value? Duplicate record means the entire record. You do not consider it duplicate if values. There can be multiple Uveshes, but you cannot have same Uvesh with same age, same father, same location. Everything can't be same. So when record is duplicate, those records needs to be removed. Okay, great. Now, some of the time, whenever you are working with these columns, maybe I write Uvesh Hussain and I have mistakenly entered one space key. So I have added unnecessary space, maybe in between, maybe in starting, or maybe in the end. So whenever you want to get rid of these irrelevant spaces, you can use trim function, and you need to always get rid of these additional irrelevant spaces. Okay. Again, the other thing, maybe there is a column given, and in that column you might have complex data, number as well as let's say text. So you might need to apply text to column feature to have number in one column, text in the other column. So text to column feature you need to use. Maybe you can use Power Query editor to apply advanced transformation, and maybe you need to handle the missing values. These are some of the things which you will be using, like trim, like clean, maybe remove duplicates, which is again top to text to column, maybe find and replace mechanism, maybe conditional formatting to detect errors. Any one of them you can use. Okay, so ये कुछ cleaning के कुछ important functions हैं. But again if let's say you want to perform more advanced, let's say, cleaning on your data, then you switch to Power Query editor. है ना? Power Query editor could be an again interesting tool. So जैसे for example, let me take this data, Control C. Okay, let me get this data, and let's say I have this record multiple times. Control V, Control V. I want to get rid of these duplicate records. So what I will do, I'll select the entire data. I'll go to data tab, and here directly I have this option, remove duplicates. The moment I click on this, my duplicate records will be gone. I click on OK, duplicate records are gone. Pretty straightforward. Similarly, here you have text to column feature as well, which can divide your column into two parts. Similarly, if I write my name here, Uvesh, and I have added some additional spaces. So you see, you can just use trim function to remove those irrelevant spaces. To make sure whether you have space or not, I can just use len function to check the length. It shows 8 characters, but actually I have only 6 characters. And this one is without any irrelevant space, only 6 characters. This is how you can use trim. So it is like hit and try. You need to think of multiple ways to find solutions to different problems. Okay, are we clear, guys? Great. Now data project guidance actually needs how to build a basic project using Excel plus SQL plus Power BI. Means actually the question is little confusing, but still I have tried to answer. See, if it is basic project, first of all, either it would be on Excel or on SQL or on Power BI. So it should not be basic. It should be good project actually. Okay. So how can we create a good project using Excel plus SQL plus Power BI? So see, generally you will be given data maybe in Excel format. So you can start working with Excel. Okay. Then maybe you get or fetch data to Excel and you perform basic transformation in Excel. Then you can save that data as a CSV file and you can go to SQL. In SQL, you can fetch that CSV file, you can load your data. Once you load data to SQL, because SQL is already installed to your system, it has a local database connection. You can connect to SQL directly in Power BI. And in Power BI, you actually create the actual dashboard. So there is actually this scenario I have created, but it does not work like that. You will be using one data source, one tool. For example, Excel as a data source, Power BI is the tool. Excel as a data source, SQL is the tool. SQL is the data source, Power BI is the tool. You use two combinations, not more than two. It's quite dragging and tedious. ठीक है? So ऐसा होता नहीं है, but still I have just tried to tell. So it generally what happens that you have data set in Excel, you fetch it to Power BI, build the solution. Or maybe you have data set on SQL, fetch it to Power BI and you build the solution. Okay, so two tools are in work always, not three. But still, if you want to use three because you have a lot of time, so yeah, this is how you can do. Great. Clear? So if you want to use, see, in Power BI, if you want to fetch data from SQL data source, you need to provide some details, some information. For example, you must be having some cloud database. That's only can build. For example, if I click on my SQL database, it is going to ask me to provide some SQL credentials. So if you do not have the SQL credentials, you cannot work. If I click on, you see, maybe SQL server, it is asking me to provide the server name and maybe the password. Let's see, just wait a minute. See, we need to provide the server, the database name, and then we can click on OK. And then it will ask some password as well. Then only you will be able to fetch data. So whether you fetch data from SQL or CSV, wherever, only the way of fetching will be different. But once you get the data in Power BI loaded, then there is no difference. All data must be treated in same way. Okay, so don't get confused with these different data sources. Only method of fetching might differ, but the way you work in Power BI will remain same. Clear? Yes, Arkiran, we have to. We just need to use trim formula for one value and then we just uh, fill and a flash fill and automatically it will remove spaces from all the different values. Okay, Power BI you can directly install to your system. No credential required unless you are sharing report publicly. So nothing is required. Just go to Microsoft Store and install Power BI. Great. How to use slicers effectively? So slicer again is a filter in Excel which is in button form. So whenever you want to use a slicer in Excel, generally slicers are used for categorical data. What do you mean by categorical data? means the data which either contain text data or contain date data. For example, you have region, north, east, west, south. For example, you have time, maybe year, 21, 22, 23. Maybe you have status, yes, no, ha, na. So these type of data when you have and you want a filter in button form, then you use slicer. Just for example, I am just trying to show you. This is sheet 1. Generally we use with pivot table, but even if you want to use with sheet, you can use. You can just go to insert and click on slicer. It is asking me to create a connection. So let me create a pivot table first. Let's say this is my pivot table department and maybe salary. I'll click here, go to insert. I will insert a slicer maybe for department. And you see this is in button form. You can select any slicer from here. This is your slicer. Okay. So it is like button form filter, which is more convenient to user. So user can use these type of slicer very easily. So we build a report for business owner, for stakeholders, and we try to make more convenient so that they can conveniently use it. Okay. Other than this, guys, if you want to use some of the AI tools while working with Excel, that too freely, there are many tools. For example, you can use Microsoft Copilot. You can use maybe Gemini. You can use ChatGPT. Maybe you can use Shortcut.ai, Sheet AI plugin. There are some plugins as well in Excel. If you click here, Home tab, and if you click on add-ins, there are some plugins as well which you can add to your Excel. And these can also help you to work with your Excel. Don't remember too many tools, AI tools. I would recommend you use one or two AI tool and try to find all your solutions there. You need to learn the art of asking questions. You need to learn the art of getting your solutions. It doesn't matter how many tools you know or remember if you don't know how to use them. So just get a good hands-on asking questions, getting solutions. That would be enough. If you are using paid version of Excel or any AI tool, even you can see your Copilot will be enabled to Excel and you will be directly able to analyze data. For example, I am using uh, Microsoft 365. So I'll go to data tab and here you see we have this, I have direct option, data analyze data. And this is auto generated. I can maybe directly click on insert chart and it is going to insert a chart frequency table automatically. If you are using 365 or any paid version, or maybe you have Copilot paid version, you will have all these options. Even not only this, you can ask a question also. Maybe average salary by location, and it is going to generate a chart for you. You can click on insert pivot chart and this is done. So in few steps, you can do that. Make sense? You type anything you can type here. If you are using you go to data tab and here you have this microscope, analyze data. And you can write anything, whatever you want. And it is going to do that. If you are using free version, don't think about all this. You just need to learn how to ask questions and how to get answers and then how to implement it. Right? So this is all we have for today's session, guys. I hope you have learned something new today. I hope you did learn something good about Excel and you will be able to practice it. Okay. So that's all from my end, guys. Before you leave, do submit your queries through the Google form link and do submit your feedback. And let's meet some other days in some other session. Till then, just keep working, keep enjoying. Okay. Wish you the very best. Always welcome. Bye bye, guys.